What's going on, everyone? It's Alex here from Alex Physio. Today we're going to be going over 5 exercises that you can do for a hamstring injury. Welcome. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Alexander Kravich. I'm a physiotherapist in Vancouver, British Columbia, and today we're going to be going over 5 exercises that you can do if you suffer a hamstring injury. Now, these exercises are going to be in an order from least intense or least difficult to most difficult. There are some limitations just in terms of what equipment is available that I'm demonstrating with you on, and I'll make a note at that at the end of the video. But regardless, this isn't medical advice, so please see a physio if you have torn your hamstring or if you have a hamstring injury. As these exercises, you don't want to do them all in one go because obviously some of them are going to be very easy and some of them are going to be very challenging, and you need to be able to progressively build on to the next exercises. But regardless, it's good to just have an idea of what it means to start from very simple, easy exercises for the hamstring to more challenging exercises for the hamstrings. The first exercise we're going to do is just an isometric knee flexion. So what this looks like is no equipment's required. You're going to rest your heel against the wall, hands on the wall, and you're just trying to push your heel into the wall as if you're trying to bend your knee. And when you do that, you should feel your hamstring muscles turn on and the tendon turn on. So you're getting some activation in the hamstring muscle and tendon. And again, the nice thing about this is you're pushing as hard as you feel comfortable. Early on, you're not going to want to push it a lot because it's going to be too painful. But eventually, as you get more comfortable, you'll be able to load it a little bit more. The nice thing about this also is I want you to work in different ranges of motion, so not just with your knees slightly bent or bent to 90, but in the upper ranges of motion and also in the lower. So you can even do it when your heel is basically just on the floor, just a slight knee bend. And again, just changing how the loads are distributed and activating different muscle fibers, different motor units in your muscle tendon complex. Okay, hold that 10 to 15 seconds. Okay, that's exercise 1, your isometric knee flexion. Exercise 2, we're going to do hamstring bridges. So what this is going to look like is your typical bridge is you have your knees bent to about 100, 110 degrees and you're lifting your bum off the ground. But with hamstring bridges, now we're going to start with our knees closer to being fully straight. Okay, so this is going to increase the lever arm and increase the amount of work that the hamstrings has to do relative to the bum muscles, because your hamstrings can also play a role in hip straightening or hip extension. So you're digging your heels into the ground with this exercise, and you're just trying to lift your bum off the ground. Squeeze your bum muscles together and come back down to the start. So squeeze, push down and up and back down. Obviously, I'm starting it on 2 just because it's going to be a little bit easier. If you've injured the respective, let's say if you've injured the left side, then obviously you would do them just on one leg. That's going to be a little bit more challenging, a little bit more provocative. So you just want to make sure you're slowly building up to that level to go from doing a 2 to a 1 to doing it just on the affected side. But that's exercise 2, your hamstring bridges. Exercise 3, you're going to do a hamstring bridge walkout. So now instead of just going up and down, you're actually going to add a dynamic component to it, which is going to make it more challenging. So what this is going to look like is now I'm going to squeeze my bum muscles, lift my bum off the ground, and now I'm walking my hamstrings, walking my heels as close to my knees being straight as I can, and then walking back to the start. So with this one, again, you want to just make sure that as you're walking out that your hips are staying up the whole time, because the tendency is going to be for the hips to want to drop as you bring your heels further away from your bum. So keep your hips up, walk nice and slow if you can, until your knees are almost fully straight, and then come back to the start. Okay, that's exercise 3, the hamstring bridge walkouts. 4, we're going to do our kettlebell swing. So feet about hip width apart, grab the kettlebell back straight. You're going to swing the kettlebell behind you, and then as you're squeezing your bum muscles together, you're driving that kettlebell up in the air until it's a little bit over shoulder height. Again, you're just moving in a smooth hinge motion. So bum back, kettlebell behind me. I'm following the kettlebell with my eyes as I'm driving my hips forward. Okay? That's exercise 4, kettlebell swing. So the 5th exercise we're going to do is a single leg deadlift. We're going to do it with a kettlebell. So in this case, I'm going to have the kettlebell in my right hand. I'm going to be standing on my left leg. So I'm bringing the kettlebell down towards the floor and lifting my right leg behind me, heel pointing towards the ceiling, and my back is relatively straight. And then I'm driving through my left hip to finish where I started. So torso comes forward, leg comes back, right leg comes back, and drive through. Okay, so again, there's a balance component here, there's a stability component. We're working both sides, we're working our right leg as we're bringing the heel towards the ceiling, but also the left leg to control in our hips, and then coming back to the start. Obviously, you can do it with 1 kettlebell, 1 dumbbell, 2 kettlebells, 2 dumbbells. Lots of ways to make it easier and more challenging. You can also just do it with body weight, depending on where you are in the recovery. So there you have it. We went over 5 exercises that you can do as part of your hamstring strain rehab protocol. We went over the isometric knee flexion, we went over the hamstring bridge, we went over the hamstring bridge walkouts, we went over the kettlebell swing, and we went over the single leg deadlift. 2 exercises that are very important that we didn't do just for the purpose of the equipment perspective is a Nordic hamstring curl. This is where you would have somebody holding your legs down as you try to eccentrically straighten your knee as you're descending your torso towards the ground. That's an exercise that's very good for your hamstrings, but very provocative. And then the other exercise would obviously be a hamstring curl on a machine. But regardless, these are good exercises that you can incorporate as part of a rehab protocol and making sure that you're appropriately progressing before you go to the next stage. Have you ever injured your hamstring in the past? Let me know how your experience has been and what exercises you've done to help with recovery. Unfortunately, with hamstring tendinopathies or injury, they don't necessarily get better on their own. You need to work on them because it is a load issue. So you need to slowly build back up the load in order for your hamstring to be able to tolerate it. See a physiotherapist to help with your recovery. So hopefully you found value in this video. If you did find value, please consider checking out some of my other videos. I have almost 500 videos on various physio, exercise, and medical related topics. If you still find value, please consider subscribing to my channel. It really allows my channel to grow and allows me to reach a wider audience. Until then, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.